What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Israel Adesanya opened up about how he deals with difficult moments in life and why perspective has helped him stay grounded through highs and lows. Right now, Izzy is not scheduled for a fight, and he has been honest about where his mindset is. He recently explained that he is no longer chasing UFC titles the same way, and instead wants to take more risks, fight more freely, and enjoy the process like he did before becoming champion. Despite being on a 3-fight losing streak, he made it clear that setbacks do not define his spirit. Adesanya shared that nothing lasts forever, whether it is success, failure, happiness, or pain. He used the idea of weather to explain his mindset, saying, "When it rains, the sun will always shine again." Instead of fighting the rain, he believes in accepting it, enjoying the moment, and remembering that being alive and above ground already matters. For him, life is a cycle, and emotions come and go, just like seasons. He talked about being in Thailand recently, feeling present, happy, and grateful, even though only months earlier he went through a deep personal dip. Rather than panicking or losing himself, he recognized that hard times are simply part of the journey. He stays calm because he has seen these cycles before and understands they always pass. Adesanya reflected on 2013 as one of the toughest periods of his life, when he briefly wondered if this was how people felt when they were truly sad. Even then, he said he never allowed himself to fall completely because his spirit is strong. He credits his resilience to knowing himself, having a solid support system, and trusting that time heals all phases. He emphasized that life includes the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, and all of it deserves to be experienced. Instead of running from pain or clinging to success, he believes in embracing everything fully. That mindset, according to Adesanya, is what keeps him balanced, motivated, and ready to move forward no matter what chapter he is in. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Urijah Faber has shared his prediction for the upcoming clash between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, with a clear lean toward Gaethje getting the win. The two are set to meet at UFC 324 with the interim lightweight title on the line, making it one of the most talked about matchups on the card. Speaking with Helen Ye, Faber broke down why he believes Gaethje has the edge in this high-stakes fight. Faber explained that while both fighters enjoy intense battles, Gaethje is the one who truly thrives in a knockdown, drag-out war. He pointed out that Paddy Pimblett absolutely loves to fight and bring pressure, but Gaethje is built for fist exchanges and never shies away from chaos. According to Faber, that willingness to stand in the fire is a major factor in his pick. He also highlighted Gaethje's wrestling background as a key advantage. Faber noted that Gaethje's Division I wrestling gives him the ability to neutralize some of Paddy's strongest weapons. While Paddy is known as a very dominant grappler, especially when it comes to submissions and aggressive ground attacks, Faber feels Gaethje has the awareness and tools to defend those threats. Faber believes Gaethje can dictate where the fight takes place, whether that means keeping it standing or using wrestling defensively to avoid bad positions. By controlling the range and pace, Gaethje can force the fight into scenarios that favor his style. That control, combined with his toughness and experience in big fights, is why Faber sees Gaethje coming out on top. Overall, Faber's take frames this matchup as a clash of styles, with Paddy's grappling aggression meeting Gaethje's pressure striking and gritty wrestling defense. In his view, those factors give Gaethje the slight but decisive advantage on fight night. Moving on to another news, the highly discussed grappling match between Arman and Bullet went down today at Hype FC and ultimately ended in a draw. The bout was scheduled for just 6 minutes, and during that time neither fighter was able to secure a submission. While the action was limited, Arman did manage to score 2 takedowns, which stood out as the most notable moments of the match. Despite the competitive names involved, the short duration and lack of decisive action left many viewers underwhelmed. The event itself gained extra attention due to its sponsorship. One of the main sponsors was Conor's Irish Forge Stout, which was promoted heavily on X. Conor even reposted content from the event, highlighting that Forge Stout was now live in Armenia. However, that added visibility did not translate into positive feedback for the promotion. Following the match, the MMA community reacted harshly, especially on Hype FC's Instagram page. Many of the top comments were extremely critical, with fans expressing frustration and disappointment. One user wrote that watching the match felt like a complete waste of time and called it a major letdown. Others criticized the organization for failing to provide a proper grappling platform, arguing that the fighters were placed in a setup more suited for boxing than high-level grappling. Some fans went even further, accusing the promotion of poor planning, lack of organization, and even fixing the result as a draw. There were claims that if Arman and Shara had competed on a normal grappling surface, instead of a classic boxing-style octagon, the outcome could have been very different. The main event was labeled by several viewers as one of the worst they had ever seen. Complaints also extended beyond the match itself to the live experience. Attendees said people from nearby villages crowded around the ring, blocking views and leaving many spectators unable to see the action. Fans expressed regret over the money spent and the time invested, calling the entire event a pre-planned circus rather than a legitimate sporting contest. Overall, what was expected to be an exciting showcase between Arman and Shara Bullet instead turned into a night defined by backlash. The draw result, combined with production issues and fan dissatisfaction, has put Hype FC under heavy scrutiny and left many viewers vowing not to give similar organizations another chance. Moving on to another news. Justin Gaethje recently shared his thoughts on a potential future clash with champion Ilia Topuria and outlined the strategy he would rely on to secure a victory. The 37-year-old, currently focused on his UFC 324 interim title fight against Paddy Pimblett, emphasized the importance of precision and awareness against El Matador. If Gaethje stops Pimblett and claims the interim belt, he would face Topuria in a title unification bout when the champion returns after the first quarter of 2026. In an interview with Carlos Contreras Legaspi, Gaethje highlighted that no opponent can afford to make mistakes against Topuria, particularly when it comes to the Georgian Spaniard's lethal right hand. He praised Topuria's sharp 2-3 combination and admitted that while facing him would be intimidating, it is a challenge he would fully embrace. Gaethje stressed that beating Topuria comes down to trusting his instincts, maintaining perfect timing, and living in the moment. I have to trust my intuition, my ability to judge distance and time, and just be there. It comes down to not making mistakes against a guy like that, not eating his right hand, not walking into his right hand. His 2-3 is one of the best combinations I've seen in this sport. It's a beautiful challenge, and I love how scared I'll be, he explained. He concluded that preparation, focus, and respect for Topuria's skill set are key. For Gaethje, the excitement of facing a top-tier opponent like Ilia lies in the challenge itself and the opportunity to push his abilities to the limit, making the potential showdown a must-watch event for fight fans worldwide. Moving on to another news, Arman has finally addressed the rumors surrounding a potential grappling match with Islam Makhachev, confirming that it will not happen. After being denied a UFC title shot, Arman has stayed active, most recently facing Sharaputin Magomedov in Armenia under the Hype FC banner. That grappling bout ended in a draw after 6 intense minutes, keeping fans eager for more action from the lightweight contender. Following the Magomedov fight, Arman was informed by Red Corner MMA that Makhachev has no interest in a grappling showdown. The reason is simple. Islam earns a substantial income in the UFC, and side grappling matches cannot match the financial rewards he receives at the top level. Arman agreed with Makhachev's perspective, acknowledging the reality of the situation. In the short term, this grappling match won't happen, because Islam makes very big money in the UFC. I don't think anybody can afford to pay him that amount of money, Arman explained. Arman and Islam first met in the octagon during Arman's UFC debut in 2019, where Makhachev earned a unanimous decision victory. The two were set for a rematch at UFC 311 in 2025, with Makhachev defending the lightweight title. However, Arman was forced to withdraw from the fight due to a back injury, delaying what could have been a high-profile rematch. With Arman continuing to compete in other promotions and Makhachev focused on his UFC career, fans will likely have to accept that a grappling bout between the two is off the table for the foreseeable future. While the matchup remains a tantalizing prospect, financial realities and career priorities have made it clear that it won't happen anytime soon. Moving on to another news, Matt Brown is pushing back hard on the idea that Francis Ngannou regrets leaving the UFC, even after recently teasing interest in a potential fight with John Jones. Ngannou, who still has one fight left on his PFL contract, mentioned the possibility of facing Jones on a proposed UFC White House card in June. Although Dana White quickly shut that idea down, the mere mention sparked speculation that Ngannou might be second-guessing his decision to walk away as heavyweight champion. Brown does not buy that narrative at all. Speaking candidly, he said he highly doubts Ngannou has any regrets, believing what fans are hearing is simply the competitor inside him talking. According to Brown, Ngannou wants to fight the best, sell big fights, and chase challenges. But that does not mean he is unhappy with his career choices. In Brown's view, there is not a single regret tied to Ngannou's decision, especially when money is factored in. Brown emphasized that Ngannou reportedly made more from a single boxing match than he would have earned in his entire UFC career. He went further, saying Ngannou likely made more than Jon Jones and even more than Conor earned across their full UFC runs. From a prize-fighting perspective, Brown believes the outcome is clear. Ngannou took the risk, chased opportunity, and secured the biggest prize possible. Since leaving the UFC, Ngannou has only competed once in MMA, scoring a dominant first-round win over Renan Ferreira in 2024. While that fight did little to elevate his legacy, it did come with a major payday. Brown acknowledged that Ngannou may feel limited when it comes to elite opponents now, which could explain why a Jon Jones fight remains on his mind. However, he framed that feeling as competitive frustration rather than regret. Brown painted a vivid picture, explaining that if Ngannou has any lingering thoughts about what could have been, they are happening while he is living comfortably, not struggling. He joked that any regret would be felt while relaxing on a yacht, not while dealing with real hardship. That context matters, because regret usually implies pain or suffering, something Brown does not associate with Ngannou's current life. He added that prize fighting is exactly what it sounds like, fighting for the prize. By that definition, Ngannou won. He fought for it, secured generational wealth, and ensured long-term security for his family. Even if his legacy debates remain unfinished, Brown believes Ngannou can live with that trade-off. With Ngannou nearing 40, Brown expects him to squeeze whatever competitive juice he has left, whether that means another PFL bout or a lucrative boxing match. Financially, Brown feels the decision was flawless. Ngannou may still be searching for fulfillment, but he will do so without ever worrying about money again. Moving on to another news, Henry Cejudo is officially heading back to his wrestling roots following his retirement from mixed martial arts. Promotional officials confirmed that the Olympic gold medalist and former two-division UFC champion is set to headline RAF 6, which takes place on February 28th at Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona. The event will stream exclusively on Fox Nation, marking a new chapter in Cejudo's competitive career. As of now, his opponent for the main event has not been announced. Also competing on the card is longtime fan favorite Clay Guy Gaida, a 37-fight UFC veteran who will appear in the co-main event against an opponent to be named at a later date. The announcement comes shortly after Cejudo confirmed his retirement for the second time from MMA competition. His final appearance inside the octagon took place at UFC 323, where he suffered a unanimous decision loss to Peyton Talbot. That defeat marked his fourth straight loss. Cejudo had previously retired after stopping Dominic Cruz in the second round at UFC 249 in May 2020. After stepping away for 3 years, he returned to action but struggled to regain momentum. His comeback began with a split decision loss to then bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling at UFC 288 in May 2023. He later dropped a unanimous decision to Merab, followed by a technical decision loss to Song Yadong in the main event of UFC Seattle in February. Despite the rough ending to his MMA run, Cejudo's legacy in combat sports remains historic. Before transitioning to MMA, he achieved international fame by winning an Olympic gold medal in wrestling at the 2008 Games. At just 21 years old, he became the youngest American ever to accomplish that feat at the time. Now with RAF 6 on the horizon, Cejudo is returning to the discipline that first made him a star. The move allows him to compete without the physical toll of MMA while reconnecting with his wrestling foundation. For many fans, this appearance represents a full circle moment, celebrating Cejudo's roots and his lasting impact on combat sports. Moving on to another news, Bryce Mitchell is stirring controversy by floating a wild conspiracy about Anthony Joshua's recent car accident. During a candid rant, Mitchell suggested Jake Paul was somehow involved, implying dark consequences tied to refusing to lose a fight. He claimed that if you do not let Jake Paul win, someone pays the price days later, with lives ruined and friends lost. The comments quickly spread online, shocking fans and drawing criticism for their reckless tone. Mitchell offered no evidence, leaning instead on suspicion and emotion to sell the idea. Supporters called it satire, while others warned it fuels misinformation. Anthony Joshua has not responded publicly, and no authorities have indicated foul play. Still, the clip gained traction across combat sports media, turning a serious incident into viral drama. The situation underscores how quickly speculation can overshadow facts in fight culture today. Moving on to another news. Joshua Van just hit a proud milestone on the mats, earning his 3rd stripe on his blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu. During a lighthearted gym moment, his coach called him over, joking around as Joshua looked side to side, already wearing stripes on his belt. After watching how he rolled, the coach decided that was not enough and announced he deserved one more stripe on the spot. The room erupted in applause as the belt was updated, turning a routine class into a special moment. Laughter followed as Joshua joked with his dad about not having the belt ready in the bag earlier. The clip shows the hard work paying off, with teammates celebrating his steady progress. Now officially a 3-stripe blue belt, Joshua Van continues to sharpen his grappling, adding another layer to his fast-rising combat sports journey and overall skill set.